G'day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Cell Max event, and we're going to be taking a look at how you can beat specifically the Hybrid Saiyans portion of the Cell Max event, or the challenge I should say. Now a couple of things here that I think a lot of players need to understand. So the Cell Max Hybrid Saiyans event mission I think is a lot easier than the Battle of Wits. I think Battle of Wits is a bit dependent on Piccolo. I think the category overall is a little bit weaker. Obviously you can beat it, we will be figuring it out, but I think personally speaking I find the Hybrid Saiyans one to be a bit better. They got a couple more useful tools. We'll run through those tools, we'll talk about substitution leads and everything that you can run, but for now let's just talk about the team. So obviously for those who don't know, Cell Max, at least in the red zone, is a bit different to his Cell Max event counterpart. He can super up to 3 times in a turn. He changes typing every single turn, and that basically sums it up. Can't stun him, can't seal him, can't attack lower him, can't do any of that cool stuff. So he's quite challenging. He can definitely be challenging for teams that need time to build up, because he doesn't give you, he does start out relatively strong. It's not like he starts out hitting 1.7 million supers or anything, but he does start out relatively strong as a unit. And then I think personally he does change typing and everything, and I think that can cause a lot of teams problems, at least for me. So there are some things to consider. It's not such a cut and dry type of run or content or anything like that. I do think there are definitely factors to consider when you're building a team for this stage. I think things like evasion, things like guard, these are mechanics that are going to help you here, just because they lower the curve a lot on how difficult Cell Max is. I think a lot of teams can get caught by surprise, be knocked out in the first 2 turns. And so I think like using Cell Max is relatively decent when you use the Hybrid Saiyans. So in terms of team, that's kind of where we come to. So Ultimate Gohan, obviously the physical one is pretty much the best lead. If not, you can use the strength one, more than fine. I think you can even use the Future Gohan, and you can probably use the Tech Team Gohan. You can pretty much use any of the Hybrid Saiyans leads. I'd probably say you need quite a few dupes. In the Strength Gohan, definitely need an Easy Aid, and in the Future Gohan, I would also say you probably need quite a few dupes, maybe even Rainbow. Then in terms of the actual team itself, so in terms of my team, I went for pretty stock standard cookie cutter stuff. AGL Kid Gohan, exceptional unit. Provides defense to the rest of the rotation. His active skill gives him defense. The rotation defense allows us to heal, gives him guard, and he stacks his defense very quickly, which helps. So I use him. I think stacking units are still pretty viable here. He does help out. It is going to depend a little bit on your rotations and everything, but I do think that Gohan helps, especially if you're running double physical Gohan, because you need the key. So that does help a lot. So AGL Gohan, definitely super duper viable. I think the Tech Mystic Gohan is obviously probably the next most important unit, or I would say the most important unit, barring the leads that you choose. So Tech Mystic Gohan, he can guard, and that's all he needs to do basically. He immediately becomes one of the best options here because of the fact that he can guard, which is fantastic. Now the mission only requires you to use 4 Hybrid Saiyans units, and so we have done that. We have placed 2 superheroes units in the team as well, and that is obviously going to affect our team. But Gohan's very simple, 140% attack and defense, he guards, and that's basically all you need him to do. Greatly raises attack and defense, and he's just still so relevant just because of the fact that he just very quickly does not take damage. It's a very super simple answer really as to why he still remains such a good unit after all this time. Now, Gohan, obviously fantastic. We've spoken about both versions of him, the kid and the teen. But now we're going to talk about another version of him, Ultimate Gohan. So physical LR, obviously superheroes lead, Hybrid Saiyans lead, bond of master and disciple, bond of parent and child. Big damage dealer. They're going to be our huge damage dealer alongside this AGL Gogeta. Very much so the big damage dealer of the team. Obviously 20 key means great chance of additional attack, 24 key, attacks effective against all type, the active skill to set it up, we've got the rapid build up, we've got all these very good mechanisms, but Gohan looks very solid. I've always liked him since he's come out. I think he's great, and his damage really is what kind of carries this run. Now, if you only have one, that's fine. Just make sure it's a very high level friend, and you'll be more than good to go. Now, obviously, we've got a couple options that other players may not have. So Int Pan is incredibly good. We've got Int Pan, obviously she's a superheroes / bond of parent and disciple. Parent and child, bond of master and disciple lead, and obviously that's super duper helpful. Now, if you don't have access to Int Pan, there are a couple decent options. So, for one, you do have the AGL Trunks. I think is decent in this floating option. Very solid unit with good defense after supering. Very clutch from that perspective. You've got a couple other interesting options. You can use actually the Int Xeno Pan. She also has a high level of evasion, very reliable. You can use the Strength Trunks Teen, Goten Teen. You can use Strength Mr. Gohan. Plenty of great options. I, for one, if you're trying to replicate my team, you don't have Int Pan or you don't have any of the units, I, for one, would probably just go straight to Strength Ultimate Gohan. I think he's probably the go-to solid option for this content, I think, at least for me. He does have the ability to proc guard, he provides defense to the rest of rotation, he has decent defense after super. So I think, overall I would probably say that Strength Mr. Gohan is maybe the most viable option that's easiest to implement. The rest, I don't think specifically there's one that stands out. Maybe you could look at the Super Saiyan Trunks Kid, Super Saiyan Goten Kid. I think they are a decent option. I think they get a lot of flack because of how they work, but as a floater I find them to be pretty decent. If I'm honest, they do need to obviously have a Goten or a Trunks Kid to activate their active, which does give them a little bit of a problem, but I think overall they still are a pretty decent option. In general, honestly speaking, I think the team, or I think these guys are just great units that function really well. Now the superhero units we're using, obviously we're using the AGL Gogeta, exceptional unit, huge levels of damage, guaranteed crits, 70% evasion. I think you guys, if you've seen any showcases on him, you probably know exactly why people are taking him. He's just a fantastic unit. And of course also we have the Super Saiyan God Goku, also just a very strong unit that can tank so well. So it really makes everything just function super duper well. You're going to see here even how I place the Gohan in the second slot here. This is to get his damage off and to try and have Gogeta finish should we not finish Cell Max. So it's not that I trust Gohan to do more damage, 55% than Gogeta, it's that I trust Gohan to have decent enough defense afterwards without getting us killed, to then set up Gogeta to get the kill should Gohan not make it. So yeah, overall I think it's a pretty viable team tactic. I think most, as you can see there, pretty good call by the way, to go with Gogeta in the third slot, because now Gohan can really just get his damage in, be super duper relaxed. Now with his defense, very solid. He won't die at all. He's going to take a super here, not even going to feel it. There we go, 68k, nothing. And then Gogeta can finish it off, which, yeah, if he had taken the super attack, might have been a bit close. Might have been a bit close, but yeah, in general, easy run, easy-ish run, of course. But yeah, I think for the most part it was a pretty good run. I think the challenge is relatively easy. I don't think it's necessarily the hardest content in the world. So yeah, but that's gonna be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, of course, I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll definitely see you guys in the next one. So until then, as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and bye.